We're soon to release Caedmon's Hymn, which is part of a wonderful album that we've been putting together. And I'm currently behind me, you'll see the North Sea. This is the coastline going up towards Whitby. And in Whitby, Caedmon wrote this hymn known as Caedmon's Hymn back in 680 AD, and I thought it'd be quite fitting really to talk about the song, knowing that it was written just down the road from here, and also talk about it in terms of how it came together, our collaboration, and help you as an audience to know a little bit more about the process. You're 7,280 miles away from where I am. Usually I'm in London, but I'm here at the moment. You're in Hawaii. Our cellist is from Wales, but she's usually in London. Why don't you talk us a little bit through the process of how we kind of put this album to work?
This is the third piece. Actually, I think I was working on between Caedmon's Hymn and, if I'm not mistaken, I was also working on maybe Haunted Fury at the same time, but it was two pieces together. And when you sent it over, you said, okay, so first of all, this is something that was already written 680 AD, and it was in Old English, which was cool for me because I've never sung anything in Old English. Like, I have performed in a lot of different languages, I think maybe 12 or 13, and I have virtually never even heard of Old English. So that was really cool. That really perked my ears up. And so when you sent it over, the 5 different, and I know we'll get into it, but the 5 different pronunciations, which was so super helpful. The process was basically just us going back and forth. I think it's funny because we never really met face to face like this, and yet we still made magic. It's my favorite. I mean, I love all of them, but this one I was so happy to have released on my birthday because it was the one I had the most fun singing. But yeah, so just pushing it back and forth, the sheet music and then the melody line. And then after that, it was just it flowed really well. Once I actually sat down and focused and just sang through it, the Old English was not nearly as difficult as it looks. Once I got into it, it was fun.
And there's this antediluvian myth that surrounds the poem, where there's basically Caedmon, he's a common cow herder. He's nothing special at all, and he's working for the abbey. And then this myth has this idea that an angel comes along and says, "Come on, you got to sing." And he says, "I can't do it. I don't know how to sing." And then suddenly the angel gives him the power to sing this. And I think it's really, really fascinating because you've got this idea of the ex nihilo. So out of nothing comes something. So he's like a common farmer who doesn't have any kind of training in music or training in poetry or anything like that, and suddenly the divine and the earthly kind of come together, and he's got this ability to just come up with these words. It's almost like a theophanic paradox of kind of the divine and the earthly coming together. And so with the piece, I'm trying to do something of creating the sound of ancient history, the hills of ancient history kind of calling out, but also I'm trying to bring something of today and bring something of kind of contemporary sound.
I think you absolutely captured that too with this piece. That's what I love so much about it, because you can hear almost both time frames, within it. This isn't the best way to describe it, like the epicness of it though. So from the very beginning to the end, like all of it, you can feel almost like the history of the piece within it, but also mixed with contemporary. So I really like that. I actually wanted to ask you, so you chose specifically, the eternal Lord established the wonders from the beginning. So that was just the little excerpt that you chose. And I might be jumping ahead here, but I was curious to find out, like, why did you choose those words for this?
So the whole poem is absolutely epic. There's so much to it, and when you first read it in the English, you might go, "Oh, it's quite a simple kind of hymn about God." You might say, "Okay, that's all it is." But actually, as you kind of pull apart all the layers of it, you think this is so intense and so massive, and has influenced literature that we have today, like The Lord of the Rings, and as a whole piece, there's so many layers to it. One of the most kind of magical things for me is the great poet influences poetry today. And so the inception of kind of creation and ideas captivates us mortals to kind of create something that's kind of magical as well and wonderful. And actually, if, like the great myth that's surrounding this this story, and he says, sing about the beginning of everything. And I thought that's such a kind of wonderful idea, the kind of the inception of where things come from, ideas come from.
I actually like that you only chose just a small portion of the poem, because just from a singing perspective, sometimes if you sing too many, just depending on the the context of the poem, but if you sing too much, I feel like sometimes the meaning is lost. If you can really focus in on just a few simple words like swahi, wandraiwes, echidraiten oranstalda, like it's very simple, but it's really beautiful. So if you can just focus in on the simplicity of it and just kind of break it down in its simplest form, then you can really get more to the meaning than if it was like a bunch of words put into it. So that's what I like the most about singing this, is you can kind of like just bring out those notes a little bit more and focus in on word by word in a simple phrase. Because so for this album, I love that we've done so Glancing Over Paperback's the first single. I have to tell you, like, my husband loved it. My dad loves that piece so much. Like, everybody loves that. And then Haunted Fury, oh my gosh, like I can't get enough of, especially, and because I'm always like tagging that beautiful end. It's like all of a sudden it just goes into this place of, it's like strings and the synth, and it's just, I love it. And then this being the third piece, and then Ostentatious Misanthropy. So like all four of these really, I have to tell you, it's kind of pushed me to a place where I think I thought very maybe linear before when I was making music, where now, and it was good because you've given such a good base for every piece. Like really everything was laid out so easily that honestly it was kind of a shame that I didn't get it done like sooner. But it was so easy and free flowing that it kind of opened me up to say, okay, so what if I do this and get a little more, I guess, go outside of the traditional classical realm that I'm used to. So that was really awesome. So it got me, and got me going like to do different pieces afterward. So much so that I am so looking forward to collaborating on Ave Maria, the first composition I've literally ever worked on. So this is so cool to me, and I'm so excited you're on board to do it.
It sounds really special at the moment. I mean, we're very early days on it, but I think it's going to be absolutely magical when it comes out. And this is what's so cool about it, that we can kind of throw a tiny idea and just kind of develop it. And you've definitely done that with the pieces I've sent you, that you haven't just gone, great, I'll sing it. You've developed it and stretched things or played with the tune here and there to, I'm giving you that permission, and
which is good.
It's become so much better as a result. I think that's kind of how collaboration works, and it'd be worth kind of name dropping Annie as well at this point, because she's really helped lift the pieces as well, and it's been really cool working as a team, as a three on this.
It's funny too, because I never talked to her, but once I got to hear the cello on Glancing, it was like it just made so much sense, for that piece. I enjoyed listening to her part a lot. And then I also wanted to mention too, like Ostentatious Misanthropy, I just want to quickly bring it up. That being the second French piece that I've worked on with you, I wanted to make sure that one was equally as, because Glancing was so well received from so many people that really, for me, it set a bar. So that way, I kind of deliver on your album for the remaining pieces, really. But then when Ostentatious Misanthropy, when you gave it to me, I want to say, I can't remember if I changed too much in the way of where it sat in my vocal range, but I do remember doing the French. I wanted to mention again, so my friend who helps me with the French, like it was so perfect that she actually enlisted somebody from France to help exactly the pronunciation, or the exact pronunciation. And so that one too coming out is like so exciting, because it was, again, yet another one that was quite challenging, and I was surprised by, even for myself, how it came out. Like I think it sounds awesome. Caedmon's Hymn is really cool, because when you go from Haunted Fury to Caedmon's Hymn, like it's a totally different feeling, if you will. And then going from that to ostentatious misanthropy, it just makes sense musically. So I really like how it's all kind of sitting together.
So yeah, it's been really great working with you and then talking with you just now, and enjoying seeing the coastline behind us and kind of going back to the roots of Caedmon. Just remind us all when the release date is for the track, and then later for the album as well.
Yep, so August 5th, I'm so excited. Everybody look out for the single Caedmon's Hymn and Simeon's album release on September 2nd, his birthday. This is really exciting. Birthdays, huh?
Yeah.
We really planned this well.
Definitely something to celebrate.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Next Friday, I will definitely be celebrating more on this release than the first two, just because it's my birthday, but I'll be playing it all day, Caedmon's Hymn.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it was such a pleasure talking to you. I wish I had a sunny, sunset, but this will have to do. But definitely next time we'll do a sunrise and sunset. Awesome. All right. So looking forward to the release.